There he goes. We're going to get him done just with our pencil is all we're going to do it. We'll get him done, then we'll do the final drawing, and then you'll have time to practice these that we have drawn, because then we will draw them for a grade next week. So for now, this muzzle part right here, the chin and the muzzle, that's going to stay white. We're not going to color that. We just want to color this outer part of the head, kind of do it a medium. Keep your lines close together so it's not scribble. We are going to harp on that so much. Okay, we want to make sure they're really smooth and even. By the way, I looked at the pictures of the shoes and boots that Mrs. Williams put up, and there was some really good coloring on some of that. Now, some had some room for improvement, but some of it was really, really good. And that's what we're shooting for in here. We want to keep it as smooth and even as possible. Not look like scribble. So if you get done in 2 seconds, you probably scribbled it, because, I mean, I could scribble it in 2 seconds, but we're trying to color it in. So keep your lines really, really close together. Scribble happens when you get space between your lines. You don't need to color his ears in either. Just leave them light. So that's the face colored in and the muzzle between. And then the body out here, this neck, we're going to color that in too. And when we get to the bottom, we'll just let it fade out right there. We're not going to put like a hard line. We're just going to let it just end is all. I am using the side of my pencil because it gives me a wider line and a softer line, and it makes it easier to color than if you're holding your pencil up like you're writing a letter. And that's why we like these wooden pencils and we don't like those mechanical pencils, because they have plastic on the side and it just scratches your papers, all it does. Okay, so now he's colored in. I'll give you guys a few seconds to finish that up. And we'll move on to our next and last character. If you're finished and you already got him colored in, go ahead and draw one more circle over here using the number 1 circle, and you'll be all set to go. Raise your hand if you're still coloring so I know how long to wait. All right, keep going. Thank you. I'll probably let you color for about another 30 seconds. If you don't quite finish it, you can come back and finish it after we complete this last one, because you'll have time. All right, like I said, each one is going to get just a little more detailed, a little more complex. So now we're going to do our last character. Everybody get a circle drawn on there right now. If you haven't got it, get it on there, because we're going to go ahead and move on. Like I say, you can come back, color this in, finish it if you're not quite done after we finish this character, and you get some practice time. Remember to keep your lines light, and I know that's hard to see up there because I got to keep it really light, but I'm going to do some erasing, so that's why I got to keep that light. All right, so I'm going to turn my paper this way for this. Okay, everybody turn your paper, because we're going to make kind of an odd shape right here, but we need our paper turned in order to do it. So I'm going to bring a straight line, comes kind of right across the top, just a little bit in from the side. So just a little straight line right there. Don't make that very dark, because we're going to erase that. It's just a guide mark, so we have a straight line. Then we're going to take a line where when it stops at the edge of the circle, we're going to curve it up like that, and we're going to come over here and do the same thing, curve it up like that. Try to have them about the same size so that when we put it back this way, it looks like two little antennas kind of coming off of there, about the same height. It needs to have a nice bend, a nice curve to it. Don't go over and put a right angle on it. For a quarter, yes. I got it for a quarter. Work it out. Yes, what's your question? What do you mean? Yeah, you need the circle in the middle, or you're going to run out of room on either side. So once we get that on there, it almost looks a little like a canoe that we're going to do, but it's not exactly. We're going to come back to the top, and then we're going to come down to the side here, and I'm going to just bring this down like this. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm turning my paper upside down so I can do it. Okay, so I've put that on there. Now that can turn into a cowboy hat. Put a little thing in the center, but that's not what we're doing. We're going to turn this into a little moo cow. That's its horns, okay? So once you have that on there, let me see. Yeah, all right. Once that's on there, take that little line that we put across here originally. That was just to keep things straight. We can erase that out. We don't need that anymore, okay? Let's just clean it up. Man, we could make that a little devil emoji too if we wanted to. All kinds of stuff we could do with that. All right, now we're going to put another circle on here. We're going to come down here towards the bottom. We're going to make a fairly large circle. And I don't know which one on your paper it would be, because I don't have one of those in front of me. Let me look. Maybe the number 3 probably would work. Come pretty close. It might be too small, but if it's not and it looks about like this one, you're all right. Because this is to create the little nose muzzle area. So if you put it on there and the 3 looks way too small, well, then it's not going to work. But I think it will work. I'm just kind of looking at it from a distance, but it should work. We want some below and some above. So we want it inside the circle, but not all of it inside the circle. It's looking more cow-like by the second. Now raise your hand if you're not to this point of completion yet, so I know to slow down for a second. Okay, thank you. And I will warn you, Fridays when we're drawing like this and stuff, they go even faster than the other days because it's a short class and you just blink and class is already over. We'll try to make the most of it. All right, now we're going to do a little frowny face, and it's going to come below the bottom of that main circle. So let me zoom this in so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to put a little frowny face on here. I want it to come below that. And I want to extend past the edges of that little circle. So I'm just coming across there just like that. Little frowny face that goes all the way across. Okay. So hopefully everybody's got the frowny face. Let me show you what I want you to do, and then let me show you what not to do before you draw your line. I want you to come outside of this just a little ways and curve it around and bring it right back up in to the top. We can come around this, blend it right off here, and curve it instead of a hard point. So it's curved on either end instead of doing this. Don't do this. Don't come on here and go like that and put a pointy end. We do not want a pointy end like that on there, okay? We just want it curved. And we're not very far outside that little circle, just barely outside, just enough to curve it and bring it right back in to that little circle that we drew in the first place. So after we have that, then we're going to erase out all the lines inside that shape. That little fat looking half a moon kind of thing that's on there. See, if I turn it that way, it's like a little fat moon. Now he's all cleaned up, not all messy like. Okay, I'm going to widen this bottom circle out just slightly, just like that. And just like that, I want it just to the inside of that. I still want it to have a little bit going around, but just to the inside so it's not so wide from here to here. Just doing a little bit and erasing that. So now it looks more balanced, like this should be on top of that. So just barely came out. Here's the original line. I just moved it over a little, just a little. If yours already lined up pretty good, don't change it, but if it didn't, just do a little bit. And then we're going to do the letter C and a backwards letter C. So this thing needs to be able to breathe, so we're going to give it some nostrils. So we're going to give it a big letter C right there, and a big backwards letter C right there, right now. And then erase that line out inside the letter C. Hopefully this makes sense to you. We'll put the inside of that nostril on it in just a second. So it's kind of just a reflection of a letter C. You draw a letter C and then put a reflection of it on the other side. And then on the inside of that, we're going to do a parallel line that just kind of comes around just like that. And that forms the inside of the nostril right there, just like that. Now, I didn't get mine perfectly the same size, but they're close enough for what we're doing. Yeah, I could mess around with it and get exactly the same size, but for the sake of time, we just close is good enough. Now, if this was half the size of that one, I would have to redo it, but it's not. So. Okay, we've drawn a lot of circles. Now we need to do couple of ovals. And for some of you that sometimes it's a struggle. Hopefully it won't be too much of a struggle. But we're going to put one big oval right here on this side. Okay, one big oval there. And then we're going to go over to this side, put some space. At least the space as wide as this oval is. Put another one over here, maybe even a little wider. Another big oval right here. That's going to be the two eye openings. Okay, so they're pretty big. Move them up a little bit. You got to get further away from the top of your nose. See the distance there from here to here? And this is important, guys, that we don't have it too close to the nose, because right here what we're going to do is we're going to put a little line that comes off the edge. It comes down here like this and like that, and that's the muzzle, top of the muzzle on a cow, okay? You'll put maybe just a little wrinkle right here, maybe one more little wrinkle right there, okay? That's why we got to have a little muzzle space there. All this from a couple of circles. All right, let's put the pupils in it. This one I think I'm going to put them kind of more in the center. Kind of the same shape, just large. Then I'll put a little circle here. Then I'm going to put a smaller one down here, and a little circle here, and a smaller one down here. And we're going to color that in black. So once you get that on there like that, remember how I said go around your edges first? Do that right now. And then all we have to do is fill in the blank spot afterwards. Do the same thing on both eyes. It looks pretty awake. Hopefully you left a little space at the top, because at the top I'm going to put just a little eyelid that's curved, but I'm going to keep it fairly high. I don't want him to look like he's too tired, okay? If I brought it down closer to that dark part, it would look like he's really tired. But if I keep it a fair amount of space there, then he doesn't look so tired. But if you drew your pupil so big there's no room for an eyelid, then don't put it on there. But if there's room, go ahead and put it towards the top. We got one more thing we got to do that's a major feature, and then we'll add a few details, and then we'll color this guy in, and he'll be done. And then you're going to get some practice time. But it's going to take us a second. But we're getting towards the end. Does anybody need more time? Raise your hand if you need more time to get to this point, so I don't get too far ahead of you. Okay, looks like we're good. Let's put his ears on him. So for the ears, they're going to droop down, and we're going to come part way along the horn, make a curved line, and then we're going to bring a line that comes back. We're going to do the same thing over here. Bring it about the same distance down. And then we're going to just put the inside of the ear by just putting a line right there and a line right there. Because his ears are kind of behind his horns, and they kind of droop down. Now technically I might want him to go out a little more, but we have such a small area to work in, I've got his ears kind of drooping down so I don't go off my paper. Okay, we're going to put a little tuft of hair at the top of his head. This part you'll want to pay attention to because it's easy to get lost on this. But we're going to do it as easy as I know how to do it. We're going to make it look like a little bird flying above his head. So we'll curve that, just like a little bird flying right there above his head. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a curved line here. It comes down back to that top of his head, and then comes back out, and then comes back over. So if I turn it this way, it looks like the letter M. You all see, whoops. You all see that? Looking like the letter M right there? But it's curved lines, yes. Let me see if I can get it to work online or not. There you go. Okay, so what we do on that side, we come over here and do the same thing on this side. Bring it back. Whoops, I need to go all the way down to the top of the head. So I'll bring it back down to the top of the head and bring it back out. So now I got a letter M going this way. I got a letter M going that way. Or you've got an M and a W. Clean up any fingerprints. We're almost done with his hair. Now if there's a problem with the hair, you either draw it too small and it doesn't look like it would be hair, or you draw it so great big it's like, holy cow, he got a shaggy top of his head. Then we're just going to put two more little shapes on there. We're going to curve this one out here, a little short one here, kind of curved, and then we'll just bring them together. So that's his little tuft of hair on top of his head. Now I can go through here and darken my original circle, because I'm not going to change anything else on it now, because we're getting towards the end. That's when we darken our stuff. There's a little line going through the center of the hair there. I'm not going to worry about that because we'll color that hair in and that'll make it go away. Okay, just a couple little details. Does anybody need more time to finish that hair up before I do the details? Okay, I'll wait. And I mean, these are just some minor details. It just makes it look a little better, that's all. All right, we're going to put just an indication of kind of where his upper lip goes by just putting a long line right here and a little short one above it. And then down below, we're going to put a diagonal line. It's just going to go like that, kind of represents his chin or bottom lip. That's all we need. We don't need these to be big and long or overly thought out. And then I'm going to just put maybe a couple little whiskers. Just a few coming off his chin. And that'll be it for the details on that count. Now we'll just do a little coloring and we'll have him done. So let's color the darkest part first. That will be this little tuft of hair right here. Just like we did before. Try to keep it smooth and even, but this time I'm going to make this kind of a dark, like a medium dark, not light. Okay. We were really light on the Walrus. This one, I want this to be a lot darker. You can see how much darker that is than the Walrus. We're looking right here. And if you made it even close to black, that would be okay. Is who?
Who?
I don't have anything.
You don't?
No.
Can you close that door on your lamp, please?
All right, after we get that done, then we're going to color the face part, the round part here. So this same as we did over there on the Walrus, just kind of that medium light, being really careful to keep our lines close together and not make scribble all over it. So the line drawing is only half the lesson, okay? That's the part where we learn how to create shapes and put them together. The coloring part is the other half of the lesson of learning to color very smooth and even. And like I say, some of you this is going to come very easy for, and some of you are going to have to work at it. Darken this line so it shows up better when I color it. So the top of the muzzle I'm going to color in, but I'm not going to color in the front of the muzzle where the nose is. So for you cow people, this would be more like a Holstein. They got three colors on them. We're just too popular. Once you get the one side done, do the other side. So now I got the main part of his head, and then where his little eyelids are, we're going to make that the same medium dark as what the head is, this hair is up here. So they stand out a little bit. He put on his mascara, I guess, or she, or whatever it is. Those eyelids are a little bit darker. Or eyeliner, I guess it would be. So I'm going to give you a second to get caught up with this, and then I'll show you one or two more places we'll color, and then it'll be a done moo cow. Okay, how many need time to finish what we've got done so far up on the screen? I need to see hands. If I don't see hands, I don't know. Okay, so, all right. Thank you. Just get it done then. If you need time, do it. All right, with that said, inside the nose. There's kind of a medium light in there, so it looks like there's a hole there. Same thing on the other one. Okay, now he has some nostril holes. And then on his ear, the outer part here, we're going to go a little bit darker right here. Kind of follow that down to the bottom like that. Even though we didn't draw the line all the way down, we don't need it. We'll just color it down to it. Make it a little bit darker. Of course, what we do on one side, we do on the other. I thought about making the inside of the ear a light gray, but I think we'll just leave it as it is. It doesn't need to be a light gray. I think it's good that way. All right, so when we're all done, this is what should be on your paper at this point. You should have a little old man up here, a chicken, a walrus, and a little moo cow down there in the bottom right.